Melody Shari has officially taken a strong step forward by sending a legal notice to her ex-husband, Martell Holt, and this move is shaking up not just their personal lives but also the future of their custody battle. This is not a small detail. It is a major turning point in a story that has been unfolding for years, filled with ups and downs, court filings, emotional confrontations, and constant drama both on and off television. What makes this latest step even more powerful is how it shows Melody's determination to protect herself, her children, and her peace of mind, no matter how many times Martell tries to keep pulling her back into his cycle of chaos. To understand why this legal notice is so important, we have to go back and look at Martell's history with the courts and with Melody. The issues between them are not just about reality TV arguments or relationship problems. They have reached the level of serious legal consequences. On May 2, 2024, in Huntsville Municipal Court, Martell Holt was found guilty of third-degree domestic violence and of sending harassing messages to Melody. This was not some minor slap on the wrist. It was a serious ruling that showed the courts recognized his behavior as dangerous and unacceptable. He was sentenced to 12 months of probation, a suspended 30-day jail sentence, fines including $500, court costs, and mandatory participation in domestic violence intervention programs. The court also issued a no-contact order between Martell and Melody. Think about that. The father of 4 children was legally barred from speaking directly to their mother because the court decided it was too risky. That decision changed everything for the family. From that point forward, Martell's reputation was damaged in a way that could not easily be fixed. Fans of the show Love and Marriage. Huntsville had already formed strong opinions about him due to his cheating scandals and ongoing conflicts with other cast members. This court decision only confirmed what many people already suspected, that Martell often acted recklessly and without accountability. Some viewers felt it was about time he faced the consequences of his behavior, while others believed that the pressures of reality TV had pushed him further into self-destructive choices. Either way, the damage was done, and Martell now had a criminal record that could not simply be erased or ignored. Instead of taking responsibility and trying to move forward positively, Martell decided to appeal the ruling. This was his chance to show the court that he was ready to change or at least accept the consequences, but once again, his decisions backfired. On August 18, 2025, in the Madison County Circuit Court, Martell pleaded guilty again. The judge reaffirmed the probation, the intervention programs, and the court costs. By entering that second guilty plea, Martell essentially closed the door on any chance to reduce or overturn the original conviction. At this point, the picture was clear. He had a confirmed record of domestic violence and harassment, and that fact alone placed him at a major disadvantage as his custody battle with Melody approached. The timing could not have been worse for him. With the custody trial scheduled for October 15, 2025, the court would be looking at all of these details very closely. Family courts in Alabama focus heavily on the safety and well-being of the children involved. A parent with a history of harassment or domestic violence is far less likely to be granted equal custody or unsupervised visitation. Melody, on the other hand, has shown nothing but consistency, stability, and responsibility throughout this process. She follows the rules, she prioritizes her children, and she has maintained her household and her career without letting the chaos consume her. That kind of steady example makes her case stronger and stronger in the eyes of the court. But this is not just about courtrooms and legal filings. The impact of Martell's behavior has spread to nearly every aspect of his life. Financially, he is under strain. Between the fines, probation requirements, court costs, child support, and legal fees, his money is stretched thin. Reality TV does not guarantee a stable income, and when legal battles keep piling up, those financial pressures become even heavier. Fans have also noticed how Martell's frustrations show up both on screen and off. His temper, his need for control, and his public rants have become part of the storyline, and not in a way that helps his image. The other cast members of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, have not been able to ignore the situation either. Marceau Scott has called Martell out on multiple occasions, pointing out his poor choices and ego-driven behavior. Maurice Scott has tried to guide him in a better direction, but Martell rarely listens. Kimmy Scott has often been the voice of reason, but even she has expressed frustration with his refusal to change. Wanda, on the other hand, has never been shy about her negative opinions of Martell, often saying out loud what others are thinking. Destiny Payton, who was once close to Melody, has also been pulled into the mess at different times, caught between her past friendship with Melody and her complicated relationship with Martell. This constant ripple effect shows how Martell's personal issues affect not just his family but the entire cast dynamic. Another layer to all of this is Martell's social media presence. He often tries to use his platforms to paint himself as a devoted father and a man of faith. He shares Bible verses, motivational captions, and carefully selected photos that make him look like he is deeply involved in his children's lives. At the same time, he also shows glimpses of his life with Ariane Curry, the woman who played a big role in his divorce from Melody. This selective sharing is not about privacy. It is about control. He wants to curate an image that suits him, but fans are no longer falling for it. People see the contradiction between the court records, the repeated guilty pleas, and the carefully staged social media posts. The difference between the image he presents and the reality of his behavior is too large to ignore. The children are the ones most deeply affected by all of this. They are no longer too young to understand. They see the tension, they feel the difference between a peaceful household and a chaotic one, and they notice which parent follows the rules and which parent constantly bends them. The lessons they are learning right now about responsibility, trust, and consistency will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Melody has made it clear through her actions that her priority is providing them with stability and peace. She builds her career, she follows the court orders, and she gives her children a sense of routine. Martell, on the other hand, has shown them cycles of chaos, conflict, and control. This contrast is powerful, and it is one of the main reasons why Melody continues to receive strong support from fans and from those who follow the case closely. When Melody sent that legal notice to Martell, it was another example of her drawing a clear line. She is not allowing him to drag her into endless cycles of harassment and manipulation. Instead, she is using the law to protect herself and her children. Every legal motion, every court order, every filing is part of her effort to keep boundaries strong and to prevent Martell from disrupting her peace. Martell, by continuing to file appeals and extend court battles, only reinforces the pattern of trying to keep control over Melody's life. He may think this strategy helps him, but in reality, it shows everyone, including the court, that he is not willing to let go or focus on what really matters, the children. This is where the public perception comes into play in a big way. People have started to connect the dots. They see the repeated mistakes, the guilty pleas, the appeals, the social media performances, and they are no longer convinced by Martell's version of the story. At the same time, they see Melody consistently showing growth, accountability, and strength. She does not waste time throwing public tantrums or writing petty captions. Instead, she shows her life through her work, her family, and her calm shade that cuts deeper than any rant ever could. Fans have noticed this difference, and the support for Melody has only grown stronger. Now let's also look at the emotional side of the story. Beyond the legal filings and public posts, there are 4 children at the center of it all. They are old enough to notice who brings peace into their lives and who brings conflict. They hear the arguments. They notice the stress. They remember the feelings. And feelings are what last. They will not remember every caption Martell posts or every time he quoted scripture online, but they will remember the times he created chaos versus the times Melody gave them peace. That emotional imprint will stay with them forever, shaping how they view their parents and how they understand love, trust, and responsibility. Another important point to highlight is how Martell's attempts at controlling the narrative through public perception often backfire. For example, he frequently posts about being a family man while at the same time introducing Ariane Curry into his public life, even though her presence is what broke apart his marriage. He tries to show stability, but the court records show instability. He tries to play the victim, but his actions repeatedly show that he is the cause of his own troubles. The double standard is impossible to ignore. If Melody had done the same things Martell has done, the backlash would have been brutal. Yet Martell continues to expect leniency for himself while holding Melody to impossible standards. Fans are no longer accepting that imbalance, and they are calling it out more than ever. Melody's shade only highlights this point further. Recently, she pointed out that instead of Martell worrying about her, he should focus on getting Ariane Curry a car, since he was seen playing chauffeur for her. Then she casually posted herself driving her Range Rover, sending a loud and clear message without saying a single name. This type of classy, subtle shade is exactly why fans call Melody the queen of effortless comebacks. She doesn't need to be loud or messy. She just lets the truth speak for itself. And moments like these remind people why she has become the face of love and marriage, Huntsville. Without her, fans say the show feels empty, repetitive, and boring. Martell's mother, Marlene, also plays a role in this story. Many fans feel she has never properly apologized to Melody for standing by her son even when he was clearly in the wrong. She has defended Martell time and time again, despite the fact that Melody was the one holding the family together financially and emotionally during the marriage. That blind loyalty has only allowed Martell to continue avoiding accountability. If his own mother does not hold him responsible, then who will? This is why Melody's decision to set boundaries legally is so important. She cannot rely on anyone else to keep Martell in check, so she does it herself, calmly, firmly, and legally. What this shows us is the power of finally saying, enough. Melody no longer covers for Martell, no longer protects his image, and no longer allows him to disrupt her peace. Her actions show that she has moved on while Martell remains stuck. He continues to repeat the same mistakes, cycle through the same behaviors, and drag others into his mess. Meanwhile, Melody builds her career, protects her children, and lives her life with grace. That contrast is clear, and it is exactly why fans continue to support her so strongly. The question now is what will happen when the custody trial takes place. With Martell's guilty pleas on record, with his repeated appeals, with his financial strain, and with his public image crumbling, it seems unlikely that he will walk away with equal unsupervised custody. Melody's case is stronger than ever, not because she is perfect, but because she has shown consistency, accountability, and a genuine focus on her children's well-being. At the end of the day, that is what courts, fans, and most importantly the children themselves will remember. As this story continues to unfold, one thing becomes more and more obvious. The mask is slipping. Martell's attempts to control the narrative, to play the victim, and to manipulate public perception are no longer working. Every guilty plea, every delayed court filing, every petty social media post makes the truth clearer. Melody is focused on growth. Martell is focused on control. Melody is consistent. Martell repeats the same mistakes. And the children, along with the public, see the difference. This is not just a story about a reality TV couple. It is a story about accountability, about breaking cycles, and about the lasting impact of parental behavior on children. Melody's decision to send a legal notice to Martell is not just another chapter in their drama. It is a declaration that she will not allow him to pull her back into his chaos. She is building a life of peace, and she is determined to protect that peace at all costs. In the end, Martell still has choices. He could decide to truly change, to take accountability, to focus on being a better father instead of trying to win a battle of control. But until that happens, the story will keep playing out the same way. Melody continues to rise, and Martell continues to fall into the same patterns. The children are watching, the fans are watching, and the truth is impossible to hide. Every move he makes is documented, compared, and remembered. The mask has slipped, the patterns are clear, and the lessons are being learned in real time. So when you think about the legal notice Melody sent, remember this. It is not just a piece of paper. It is a message. A message that she is not afraid to use the law to protect herself. A message that she is prioritizing her children over drama. And a message that shows she is moving forward, while Martell remains stuck in the past.